Life is a journey,
not a destination.
And you don't need to go it alone.
Join me for practical tips and strategies on using mindfulness techniques and creating mindset shifts that can reduce stress, improve productivity, and give you a fresh perspective on work and life.
This is a Candy Factory Mini.
Mastering the Mindful Mindset
with Jose Johnson.
Hi, and welcome to this week's episode of Mastering the Mindful Mindset. I'm your host, Jose Johnson. Today, we are going to talk more about mindful communication. But first, let's set the stage properly by doing our little reset. If you watch previous episodes, you will hopefully remember this. But if you have not, please go back to episode 1, watch it, and you'll learn all the details. But for right now, you can just easily follow along. So either sitting or standing, you put one hand just below your belly button, other hand, small of your back. And imagine that your abdomen is like a big balloon. And we're going to take a nice deep breath in, filling the belly. Deep breath in. And relaxing, slow breath out. And again, a nice deep breath in. And relaxing, exhale. And one more time, deep breath in. And exhaling, release all the tension. All right, hopefully that little reset has allowed you to clear your mind and get you in the right state of mind for our time together today. So let's talk more about the power of mindful communication. Last week, we dove into the concept of mindful listening, how hearing and listening are two distinct processes. And I shared with you some techniques and strategies to improve your listening skills. This week, we dive into the second part of mindful communication, using proper speech. Now, in episode 4, I talked about words, how the words we use tell us a lot about our state of mind. Words are how we define and describe things. Our speech is one of the ways that we share those words with others. But mindful speaking is about more than just the words we use. Now, you may or may not be familiar with a story about the 3 sieves that's attributed to Socrates, or perhaps the 3 gates of speech that was attributed to Rumi. Well, the 3 sieves story is about someone trying to tell Socrates a rumor about his friend Diogenes. According to the legend, Socrates would not let the messenger dish the dirt unless the story could pass through the 3 sieves or filters. The first filter was, is this true? The second, is this good? And the third filter, is this useful? Now, Socrates' stance was that if the messenger wasn't sure of the truth of the story and that the story had nothing positive or useful in it, then maybe the messenger just shouldn't say anything at all. Now, the Rumi quote is much simpler and much more elegant. Rumi wrote, "Before you speak, let your words pass through 3 gates. Is it true? Is it necessary? Is it kind?" Now, regardless of which version you choose, these 3 questions provide an excellent checklist for developing the ability to speak mindfully. Now, Buddhist teachings also talk about the 4 characteristics of proper speech. They include the big 3 that we've already discussed, but added an additional element to the list. So when you find yourself in the need to communicate mindfully, ask yourself these questions. First, is what I'm saying true? Because why would you choose to intentionally lie to someone? Is what I'm saying necessary? While what you're saying may be true, that doesn't always mean that it needs to be said. Is what I'm saying kind? You can choose to get your point across in a cruel method or a kind method. It's the difference between saying, hey, that probably wasn't the best solution, as opposed to, you're such a freaking idiot. And finally, ask, is this the right time? After we get through our first 3 steps, we may find that the timing is just not right. Look, dropping a truth bomb on someone when they're already overwhelmed may not be the best choice for getting your message through to them. Communication experts also suggest 6 techniques to improve your communication skills. And to incorporate these skills in your communication requires a conscious decision. So even though they don't come from an ancient tradition, they are every bit as vital to mindful communication as what we've already discussed. The first is speak slowly. It's sometimes too easy to let our emotions carry us away when we talk. When we are excited or nervous, our speech tends to speed up. So be conscious of your pacing. Speak clearly. Your ability to speak clearly helps people to better hear and listen to what you're saying. There's a time and a place to mumble, and if you're trying to communicate mindfully, that's not the right time. Speak concisely. Get to the point. The more important the conversation, the fewer the words. Listen to yourself. Be aware of how you sound. Are the words you're using in your tone of voice conveying the message the way you intended? How would you react if someone was talking to you in the same way? Listen to others. Now, this goes beyond listening to the questions a person has or the responses. Like I talked about last week, you can listen with more than your ears. Pay attention to the cues of how your words are being received. And respect silence as a part of speech. Jazz great Miles Davis was quoted as saying, in music, silence is more important than sound. It's the same thing in communication. Sound with no space or silence becomes noise. So don't feel like every second has to be filled with talking. Silence allows the listener's brain time to process what you've just said. And it allows you time to consider and apply the filters of proper speech. So when should we apply proper speech? Well, in the perfect world, the answer would be always. But hey, I get it. Sometimes you just want to shoot the bull with your friends. A little mindless communication can be a relaxing change of pace. However, when we're trying to establish a deeper connection or deliver a critical message, mindful speaking is an absolute necessity. Learning to speak mindfully with your family members could make your home life much less dramatic. By applying mindful listening with mindful speaking, you gain the ability to get your point across without the discussion always turning into a shouting match. If you're a manager or a leader, mindful speech should be your default setting. Fear and intimidation only go so far in motivating others, despite what the actions of many of our elected officials would lead you to believe. By combining the techniques of mindful communication with other management skills, you will become more effective in communicating your vision and expectations. Training sessions and staff meetings will take much less time and become way more productive. And your employee evaluations and reviews will be more constructive and less painful for you and your team. So let me share a few techniques that you can use to improve your mindful speaking skills. The first 3 come from my book, Mindfulness Secrets, which you can order on my website, josejohnson.com. The first I call sweet talk. Everybody loves a compliment. Compliments lift our mood and improve our self-worth. And when we're in a positive mental state, we are more receptive to new ideas and experiences. So make it a point to give a genuine compliment to everyone that you talk to today. The second I call, if you can't say anything nice. Now, just like a compliment lifts us up, negativity pulls us down. I'm sure you can relate to being around someone who complains about everything. No matter what you're talking about, the response always highlights the negative. Their negativity sucks the joy out of any conversation, and maybe that person is you. So focus your attention on the nature of your words. Keep track of your speech for at least an hour. Don't complain, and don't criticize others or yourself. If you do, make sure you follow it up with at least 3 positive statements. Try to eventually go an entire day without making a negative comment or complaining about things. The third method I call zip it. Now, this may sound like a weird one when we're talking about talking, but bear with me for a moment. Sometimes we get afflicted by a disease called diarrhea of the mouth. We don't know when or how to simply be quiet. And as we've covered a few minutes ago, silence is a crucial component of mindful communication. And to develop any skill, you need to practice. So practice not talking. Maybe set aside an hour each day where you keep your thoughts to yourself. And no, taking a nap does not count. While you're keeping your words inside, try to take notice of your thoughts and the nature of the words that you use in your internal dialogue. Now, a closely related technique is the pause. The pause combines the power of silence, the 3 gates or the 4 characteristics, and the effectiveness of mindful breathing. It's really simple to practice. All you do is take a deep breath before speaking. This pause allows you time to consider the words you're about to say and adjust your mental and energetic states. Now, if the conversation would benefit from you being a little more relaxed, exhale longer than you inhale to activate the parasympathetic nervous system. If you need to be a little more energetic, just do the opposite. And our final technique is called the golden rule. Do you remember the golden rule? It's do unto others as you would have them do unto you. Now, for this technique, we're paraphrasing it to be speak to others as you would have them speak to you. This is a method of improving the level of empathy in your communication. And this is particularly useful when dealing with tough or emotionally charged topics. So, for example, the next time your spouse or child forgets to do something, put yourself in their position and think about how you would want to be talked to if the tables were turned. Would you prefer to be reminded of what you forgot and maybe receive a suggestion on how you might do better in the future? Or would you rather be yelled at and accused of being lazy or stupid? And if you're a manager and you need to talk to an employee about a mistake they made, consider how you would want your superior to talk to you. Would you want them to address it as a coachable moment in private? Or would you rather have them berate you in front of your peers? So try focusing on at least one of these methods for a day or a week if you really like to challenge yourself. Make a commitment to apply them to all of your important conversations. So thank you so much for joining me today. I hope that you have some new tools for your mindfulness toolbox that will help you to improve the quality of your communications. And if you have a question or a topic you'd like me to cover in a future episode, communicate it with me by just dropping it in the comment section, and I'll do my best to help you out. Make sure you subscribe and share this episode with someone that you feel could benefit from this information. And also take time to check out all the other programming brought to you here on the Candy Factory Collective. So until next time, remember, it is what it is, but it becomes what you make it. So make it great. Mastering the Mindful Mindset is part of the Candy Factory mini-series and is a proud member of the Candy Factory Collective. You can find the show streaming on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, LinkedIn, and you can subscribe to the audio version anywhere you get your podcast.
Jose Johnson has traveled the world competing and teaching martial arts.
He's an entrepreneur, musician, author, and speaker.
Check out Jose's other podcast,
The Trumpet Gurus Hang.
And learn more about his book,
Mindfulness Secrets, at his website,
josejohnson.com.
Mastering the Mindful Mindset is produced by the Candy Factory Collective.
at the Candy Factory Co-working Campus in Lancaster, PA.
Our music was written and recorded by Jose. Production support by Anna Tran.
Administrative support by Ann Kirby, Ariana Henderson.
Krisha Martzel, Jason Mundock, and Robert Diggs.
Notes and links can be found at the show post at our website,
CandyFactoryCollective.com.
Candy Factory.
Collective.